Good evening and welcome to this June 25th, 2008 Civil Service Commission meeting. Can we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Devine?
Here.
Commissioner Coleman?
Here.
Commissioner Gantis?
Yes.
Commissioner Manukian?
Yes.
Chair Karian.
Here. Next item.
Reading of the minutes.
Any motion?
Move to approve and dispense with reading.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Devine?
Yes.
Commissioner Coleman?
Yes.
Commissioner Gantis?
Yes.
Commissioner Manukian?
Yes.
Chair Karian.
Yes. Next item.
Oral communications.
I do have one card from Dr. Richard Espinto. Spiritu.
That's close enough.
I apologize. I'm not as familiar with you as the other gentlemen were, so I apologize for misspelling your last name.
That's quite all right. As long as you don't call me late to dinner, it's okay.
That I'll promise you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the Civil Service Commission. I am Dr. Richard Espiritu. I'm here because I had a conversation several weeks ago with Mr. Gantis regarding an individual who had difficulty getting up to the dais because he had an operation and didn't have a leg. I moved to Glendale in 1964. This is when the Glendale Police Department would enforce what was known as the sundown laws. I invited a gentleman to my house by the name of Randolph Stevens, who was from British Guiana, very dark complected, had a knock on the door at approximately 6:30 in the evening, and one of the largest police officers I ever saw was standing there. He said, "You have," and he used the N-word, "and we have to escort him out of town because this is against the law. We have the sundown laws." He says, "I'm sorry, I don't know what the sundown laws are." Told me whenever there is an African American in the city of Glendale at that time, they would be escorted to the city limits. I told him, I says, "There's one problem. He's a guest in my house. He's not on the street, so get lost." Police officers sat at the end of my driveway until sunrise the next morning. I got tickets for doing 26 in a 25-mile-an-hour zone, expired parking meters, parking 19 inches away from the curb, and I had a police officer from 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 3 o'clock in the morning knock on my door asking me why I was beating up my wife and why she was running down the street screaming that I was trying to kill her. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I says, "Would you please tell me who is complaining?" He refused. I never had another call. Later on, I'll tell you what happened to that police officer when I was later on, 4 years later, working at Glendale Memorial. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Executive Order 13166, which are federal laws, and the Dalmani-Aleatory Bilingual Service Act of 1973 addressed the issue of individuals with limited English proficiency. I have spoken with the Glendale Police Department regarding limited English proficiency, regarding the issues of major disasters and various other issues, but they're working on this. The issue that I'd like to address with you tonight, and I told you these stories, is I'd like to let you know that bigotry is still alive and well in the city of Glendale after some 40 years. How many times has members of this body listened to the city council when they have people come up to this podium and says, "Those people are you people"? During the Vietnam War, this was a way of dehumanizing an individual. So it'd be easier to kill them or treat them whatever way you wanted to. Bigotry exists in the states of mind of individuals, and the receivers of that bigotry is a perception by the person who is being bigoted. I am telling this commission that bigotry exists in the city of Glendale, not only within our general population, but also within the employees of the city of Glendale. There has been individuals who have accused human resources of not hiring people with disabilities, which I don't think is true, but they perceive that. I would like to know what this commission would do to help end discrimination against individuals with disabilities, people of different ethnic origins, within the city and within the city employees, and how can we make this city a better place for those who work here and for those who live here? Because people in authority, such as yourself, such as the Water and Power, have talked about, and I personally have asked individuals, why don't we do something? They said, you people, and that's what they said to me, and I was referring to my mother who is 93, who is disabled, and I'm leaving to take care of her. We need to change the perception. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. Yes, Mr. Manu.
Doctor, thank you for sharing that. And as far as at least I'll speak for myself, one of the issues that you brought up, we're making an effort on our side at least to try to make a change. And I do agree with some of the points that you brought up, and all I can say is sit tight.
Sir.
Doctor?
Yes.
Mr. Coleman is what I meant to say. Sorry.
I was hired as a consultant by the Department of Fair Employment and Housing in 1985. I was the first white person to be hired by that organization. I helped enforce the civil rights laws in the state for 11 and a half years. And I experienced discrimination firsthand by the staff of that state agency. And I have tried to do everything in my power since I was in Vietnam and saw discrimination in the Marine Corps to annihilate that beast. And I will continue to do that.
Join my team. Okay?
I'm on it and have been for years.
Doctor, hold on one second. Mr. DeWine.
Well, I agree with what my colleague said, and I appreciate your comments. I would like to ask our attorney, though, as far as the purview of this board, what do we do or what can we do in regards to discrimination and the points that the doctor brought out?
What the jurisdiction of the commission is should there be issues of discrimination in relation to recruitment, outreach, examination, selection of employees, or in disciplinary hearings, that is the purview of the Civil Service Commission in dealing with that. One thing that I was going to raise is that Oral Communications is established to allow individuals to address a particular commission on issues that are within the jurisdiction of the commission. And with respect to the speaker, I didn't see that he was really directly involving issues dealing with the jurisdiction of the commission, although in the general sense. Now it's up to the chair if the chair wants to let people talk or expound different philosophies, but just as a reminder, once you do that, then you open it up to everybody.
I'm a proponent of people coming in from our citizens and talking. So anyone who wants to talk anything relating to Civil Service Commission, I welcome them with open arms. And we hardly ever get, I think in the past 6 months we've gotten 2 speakers, so I'm not very worried that we're going to get a flood of people coming in here. But I will tell you that as far as I'm concerned, and we might at some point request a legal opinion on this, if there is a discriminatory environment created in any department in the city of Glendale where it affects the hiring or discrimination in reference to discipline or firing of individuals, Civil Service Commission will have the right to investigate that department to eliminate the discrimination against hiring or eliminate the environment from, or people from being discriminatory, disciplined, or fired. And that I would eventually, at some point, will request some kind of a legal opinion on that. So I'll promise you that this commission is very sensitive on hiring and firing. We've done everything we can. It's not just different ethnicities. It's also, any discrimination against male or female hiring in the city of Glendale at the same time, and disabilities as well. So we are very sensitive, and we'll definitely address those issues. And thank you very much for coming down here and giving us some heads up on that. Once in a while, we need to be slapped and reminded that we have a job to do, and we better do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Doyle?
I want to just reiterate the City of Glendale's policies, our beliefs, our philosophies relative to harassment and discrimination, and we really have, zero tolerance, starting from my office to the city manager. No tolerance whatsoever for harassment, discrimination on the basis of any protected category. And we take that very seriously, and our office is very much involved in truly vigorous enforcement of that policy. When we uncover this, either through investigation or other means, we investigate and we discipline. And unfortunately, these things do happen occasionally. But I do want to reiterate to the commission that these issues are taken very seriously. We have a very strong harassment policy, and it's a policy that is routinely that all the employees are trained upon on a regular basis. And this is everyone from the city manager on down attends this training. And not only that, they have to sign that they have attended it, and they also get a copy of the policy for which they have to sign for. So we do try and hold our employees completely accountable for this type of thing. And that includes discrimination against disabled people as well. In fact, we just did a rather extensive program on sensitivity toward the disabled. We've had several hundred employees participate in a program like that over the past year and a half. So just want to reiterate that we are actively involved in this enforcement and education on this matter, and we do take it very seriously.
And your door is open, that if anyone's being discriminated, they should just come directly to your office?
Come directly to my office, the city manager's office, or whatever, and wherever people are comfortable sharing that with, and we will investigate.
So it's not necessary to go through the chain of command in their own department? They can come directly to you or the city manager?
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely.
Okay. I hope there are a few people watching this, including employees.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Doyle, and we know that you try very hard, and we know that you will continue to do the same. Anyone else? Any comments on this? Okay. My agenda in here says that the commission may question the speaker, but will there be no debate or decision or comment? I think we've exhausted that very nicely. Next item, please.
Eligible list established.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this item is a reflection of the eligible lists that have been established since our last meeting. We have 3 lists, all of them promotional. Power plant instrument control position, the water system equipment operator within Water and Power, and the fire engineer recruitment process. That last one, as you can see, somewhat of a difficult process, and as you see, 16 individuals participated and only 3 made the list. So it's one of those processes that unfortunately we'll have to do again shortly. But it is an indication of how challenging these processes are. With that, if you have any
Is this the fire engineer that was supposed to be that we talked about the heading for a couple of weeks, or is this a different title, the engineer?
No, this is a sworn position within the fire department.
Okay, I got it.
The fire engineer, this is the individual who drives the apparatus and operates all of the equipment on the trucks and the engines.
Okay.
We put them through a 5-step performance exam where they have to pass each exam, and it's very, very challenging.
Thank you. Next item, please. Any questions? Next item, please.
Revised job bulletin for approval, police officer recruit.
Mr. Doyle?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, this is a job bulletin for approval. It's the police officer recruit pre-service academy graduate. This is the program where we attempt to hire new recruits after they've gone through the academy. Typically, it's individuals out there who pay their own way, go through the academy unaffiliated with a police agency at this point. The traditional way of hiring is for us to hire recruits, and we pay for them to go through the academy. Once they graduate, they become police officers. But this is just another method of really actively seeking out the best candidates. And what this enables us to do is sort of scope out the best candidates throughout their completion of the academy, and then seek to offer them jobs after they've graduated. And they would come on they'd still come on as a police officer recruit, but they would have the academy portion behind them, and we would just send them through our own training here within the organization. The way this program was originally set up, it was sort of crafted around the way Rio Hondo Academy administers the program, and as far as the testing and such. And there are other police academies which we'd like to recruit from, such as the Fullerton Police Academy and LA County Sheriff's Academy, that are post-accredited, but they don't administer the same types of the post-written or physical agility exam. And what we'd like to do is just make a minor change to the language of this bulletin to allow for the a waiver from those specific tests in case we come across any good candidates from these other academies. Really, the waiver just simply requires that an individual have completed a post-certified academy, of which, in that process, they're going to be going through a very vigorous training, very vigorous testing in both written, verbal, agility, and tactics in all different manners. So this is just a minor change to the bulletin, which we hope that you would approve. We have several people from the police department here who can probably provide a little more information on this, starting with Captain Palmer. Lieutenant Stokes is here, as is Russ Kwan, who's the analyst for police. So with that.
Any question? Comments?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Devine?
Yes.
Commissioner Coleman?
Yes.
Commissioner Gantis?
Yes.
Commissioner Manukian?
Yes.
Chair Karian?
Yes. Thank you. Next.
Agenda forecast.
Mr. Chair, members of the Commission, the agenda forecast addresses the upcoming items for our agendas. Our next meeting on July the 9th, we anticipate having a report to you on the fire department, the hiring processes. We've done some surveying of other departments per your instructions a few months ago, and we have some information on that. So we will anticipate having that ready for you for July 9th. I will likely have another item, which I'm working with one of the attorneys from the city attorney's office, having to do with civil service appeal hearings, extending those hearings to individuals in the police department on who are being transferred and having a loss of pay as a result of those transfers. And there's some legal work, legal research being done on that, which we hope to have a short presentation for you on July the 9th. On July the 23rd, we'll have our report of advertising budget expenditures for the last quarter of the 2007-08 fiscal year. And we will also likely have another item which will probably be done in closed session on a back pay issue from a recent civil service appeal hearing that was just addressed at the Superior Court level. So with that, those are our upcoming meetings. If you have any questions, I can answer them for you.
I would like to add an item on the 23rd, if that will give Mr. Braden enough time, but I don't want a legal opinion, but a discussion on the rights of Civil Service Commission on holding hearings if they feel that there's a discriminatory environment that impedes hiring or promotes firing of individuals based on their ethnicity, sex, disability.
Any protected status.
Any protected status. Thank you very much.
So I don't think, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman, I think you're indicated the word hearing. Is that what you want, or whether or not, if in fact there's such an accusation, that we would conduct an investigation under our investigative?
Well, yeah, investigative, under the investigative powers of the commission. I want it to be broad enough that we can actually discuss hearings, investigations, so however Mr. Braden wants to word it, so we can, I don't want to be limited all of a sudden saying, but we forgot to put that. Just say discussion about discriminatory environment, period, maybe, or something.
Chairman, I agree with you 100%.
Mr. Braden?
Mr. Chair, I've issued an opinion some time ago when I talked about the chief examiner and the jurisdiction of the commission on pretty much that very issue, but if you want me to revisit it, I will.
Well, I would like to revisit that issue and maybe get some clarification on that. And then, with all due respect, Mr. Braden, it is possible that on that hearing, if the commission decides that they would like to, we might actually decide that we might also want to review maybe some outside counsel on that particular issue, so there won't be anyone saying that we have some conflicts or we have some issues on this issue. So let's go ahead and look at it on the 23rd and see what the commission wants to do, and maybe get even a copy of what you've had previously. Yes,
Mr. Chairman, I would suggest that maybe we would want to do that on August 13th, only because I anticipate that July 23rd, that issue is probably going to be an issue that's going to take some time and require some presentations.
Sure.
And secondly, we also have, I think, two other closed session items that will be coming to us, I assume sometime either on the 9th or the 23rd, Mr. Doyle, in terms of some findings that might be coming back.
Let's just move it to August 13th. So
But I think we need to discuss those also, because we have to deal with those as well. And I'm just concerned about us getting overburdened and people that might be not present that need to be present for certain issues.
So Gantis, if you believe we should go to August 13th, I think if it's okay with everyone else, we'll just do it on August 13th.
And then my second question is, what would be the anticipation on the other closed session items? Would we be available for those on the 23rd then?
He said 9th even.
No, we're talking about the findings that might be coming.
Oh.
Thank you.
I don't know what the time frame is for findings and orders being prepared. I have not spoken with Mr. Potter, so I'm not...
It is my understanding Mr. Potter is going to have those ready by Monday or Tuesday.
Are we all going to be able to... I'm prepared to hear him next meeting. Okay.
So if he has them, then we'll just have them actually heard both on the next hearing.
Okay.
Chairman, just want to let you know that on the 9th I won't be here. I'll be in Tahoe, just to let you know.
Oh, that's right, you've already mentioned that. So we will actually, we will not hear him on the 3rd, we'll hear him on the 23rd. I would like to have everyone here for both of those hearings, if that's okay with you, Mr. Gant.
Again, I'm looking at the agenda items.
People here.
That could back us up a little bit. That's all this is what we're doing on agenda forecast.
Mr. Gant.
Are you here on the 23rd? Mr. Chairman, as you indicated, you might not be.
Oh, I will not be here on the 23rd. My wife is going to kill me. Yeah, I'm going to be out from the 21st to the 28th. That's very funny.
You're welcome.
We will definitely have it on August 13th.
So maybe then we can take this is why I'm bringing this up, Mr. Karen. Could we ask since the hourly employment is very short, maybe we could do Mr. Braden on the 27th, so we can leave the 23rd as a short meeting, so we can deal with 13th, I should say, for all the short matters.
You were the one who said let's do it on the 13th.
But that's before we've decided to put 3 closed session matters on.
I got it. Anyone object to having it done on the August 27th?
I'd just like to get that issue resolved as soon as possible.
Yeah, 27th would be fine, if that's okay with you.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Okay, let's just do it on the 23rd then.
27th.
27th.
so the 27th for Mr. Braden's legal opinion? Is that... Okay.
So did we also, Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
We
Mr.
also
Gant.
decide did you want to be present also for the consideration of the back pay issue?
100%.
Yeah.
Then that needs to go to the 13th as well.
Well, if it's not ready on the 9th, it is possible that the back pay issue might be ready on the 9th.
I'm not anticipating that, but...
If it's not, then definitely we'll go to the August 13th.
Okay, so you do not want that item then on the 23rd?
No.
The back pay?
No.
Okay, and we're also talking about the findings and orders, the two...
If it's not ready by the 9th, then we would like to have it by the 13th.
13th, okay.
23rd might be a,
Good time to take a vacation.
yeah. Any other issue? Yes, Mr.
One other option, I don't know if the commission's ever done it, but we could have a special meeting if we wanted to dispense with those items, since they are rather timely. We could, instead of waiting until August 13th to
You're
discuss
talking about the findings
the findings.
and once we get them all ready, we will notify everyone if that's what we need to do. We can call a special meeting, then so be it. I'll have one extra Wednesday here.
Well, are we just ready? Yes.
Okay, anything else? Okay, next item.
Reports and information.
Any reports? Okay, next item.
Civil Service Commission and staff comments.
Any comments? Next item.
Closed session.
Okay, we'll be convening into closed session and
Anticipate
reporting out after closed session, but it will not be televised. So with that, we'll be going into closed session. This will, we will not have the rest of this meeting televised. Thank you.
Correct.